Hi, I'm playing Hot Fun in the Summertime, straight from the charts from the Morristown Uke Jam. So take the link in the video description, download the free ukulele chord chart, and you can play along with this song. And if you're going to be in Morristown on the first Wednesday of the month, come on out and join us at a Morristown Uke Jam. Alright, this song is Hot Fun in the Summertime. Huge hit for Sly and the Family Stone back in 1969. What I'm going to do, I'm going to play through the song, and then we'll go back and take a look at the chords. I'll do, and maybe in the strum patterns, do a little slow motion there just to show you the strum patterns. And I'm also going to pay particular attention to one part of the song. There's one passage that appears 3 times. That's just a little bit trickier than the rest of the song because it has some chords that maybe you don't play as often, and they come in sort of a relatively quick succession. I'll go through a couple different ways to play it so that everyone can find a way to play through the whole song. So here we go. Hot Fun in the Summertime. End of the spring and here she comes back. Bye, hi, hi, hi there. Them summer days, those summer days, that's when I had most of my fun back. Hi, 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 hi there. Them summer days, those summer days, I cloud 9 when I want you out of school. County fair in the country sun, and everything is true, yeah. Hot fun in the summertime, hot fun in the summertime, hot fun in the summertime, hot fun in the summertime. First of the fall and then she goes back. Bye, 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 bye there. Them summer days, those summer days, bop, 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 when I want you out of school. County fair in the country sun, and everything is true, ooh yeah. Hot fun in the summertime, hot fun in the summertime, hot fun in the summertime, hot fun in the summertime. Okay, so that's Hot Fun in the Summertime, Sly and the Family Stone. Let me start with, I want to talk about most of the song is pretty straightforward, and again, other than the one part I'm going to talk about in a minute, has really just 4 chords. So let's go through those chords quickly so we can spend more time on that one slightly more tricky part. The 4 chords that appear throughout most of the song are C, which you know, 0, 0, 0, 3. G minor, which is 0, 2, 3, 1. D minor, 2, 2, 1, 0. I think that's also very familiar. And then during the chorus, a G 7th shows up. 0, 2, 1, 2. Most of you know a regular G, I'm sure, 0, 2, 3, 2. This just, instead of having this 3rd fret, you go down to the first fret, so that's a G7. So most of the song just features those 4 chords. There is this one passage that takes place 3 times in the song, over the words high, 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 high there, and then the third time it's bye, 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 bye there. I want to spend a little time in that because, first of all, there's some chords that you don't see as often, and it's relatively fast. So I just want to show you, let me show you how I played it first. The chord sequence. Let me show you the chords first. The first chord is G sharp. Now we all know G. There's a G. To make a G sharp, you slide this whole thing up 1 fret. But now this 4th string, that note doesn't work with the G sharp. See, it's wrong. So to play a full G sharp, you'd use your pinky on this 5th fret and go. Now, if you don't want to do, if putting this pinky up here is uncomfortable for you, especially in this relatively quick passage, there's another way. You can just take your G chord, slide it up to G sharp, and just play these 3 strings. Don't hit this one. Just play that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not cheating. It's just a... See? That's a perfectly fine G sharp. This is a full one. But if you don't want to do that, just do that. So that's the first chord in that sequence. Now, the second chord in that sequence is a G minor. And we already talked about G minor. That's this one that I just showed you before. But for this passage, I want to use this. This is also a G minor up here. Most of you know the E minor shape, right? Like this. Just slide that up 3 from the E minor to the G minor. And the reason I want to use this form of G minor is that the next chord in the sequence is an F minor. So you just go, slide it down. Now, when you slide that down, this is another example where on the F minor, that 4th string won't work. So you just strum 3 strings. I didn't even bother. This would be a full, there's a full F minor. But for such a quick passage, I didn't even bother. I just did this. 3 strings. Okay? And then the 4th chord in that sequence is a D sharp. Now you all know D. Looks like this. Now to make a D sharp, you slide that up, but you use these 3 fingers because you need your index finger for that note on the 1st fret. Now, there's also another way out of there. If you don't want to make this big 4-finger reach, you could also go from the F minor to the D sharp by just going like this. Just don't hit the top string. That note's wrong. So you can just play these bottom strings if you don't want to bother making this 4-finger chord. You can. So let me show you that whole sequence now. Or again, 3 strings on the first one. Don't just. And then the 3 bottom strings on that last one. So again, there are some ways to simplify that passage. You know, you instead of going, you can just go 3 strings. Just don't hit the top string on that one. So there's your options there. Now, and again, let me just play that sequence one time just to show you how it's a high, 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 high. Okay, so it's sort of quick, and it has some unusual chords, but there are some fairly easy ways to play it. Now let's go through the strumming patterns on the rest of the song. The song starts with that instrumental. It's sort of a quick. It's a C and a G minor, just 8 quick downstrokes. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 12. And then when it kicks into the vocals, then it goes into a more normal strum. End of the spring, and here she comes back. So that's pretty straightforward. End of the spring, and here she comes back. Then we go to that part I just spent some time on. Hi, 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 hi. Right? Then the song continues. Them summer days, those summer days, that's when I had most of my fun back. Then here goes the sequence again. Hi, 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 there. Okay, so that's the strumming pattern during the verse. When we get to the chorus, it's really not much. In the chorus, it's just over 2 simple chords, D minor and G seventh. Hot fun in the summertime. 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 Pretty straightforward. So again, all in all, it's a pretty straightforward song. It has that one passage, the hi, 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 hi there, or bye, 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 bye there, that has some relatively fast and not so common chords. But I hope that that one of the options that I showed you will work for you when you play it through. So anyway, that's Hot Fun in the Summertime, and I hope to see you at a Morristown Uke Jam.